Hello there and welcome back to 5-Round MMA in the new year, 2014. We were off last week. It's good to see everybody back here in the Roswell Record Sound Studio. Last year, I guess you guys said last year, right?
Yeah.
Last year.
I'm a little sad. Chris Paul's out. My 49ers are playing the Packers right now as we speak. So pretty interesting stuff in the MMA world.
You guys got any New Year's resolutions, Albert?
To get to predict all the UFC champions of 2014.
Is that a resolution?
That's a resolution.
It's not a resolution.
Can't we got resolutions?
No, I was wrong in 2013.
the
So
same
So
resolution.
is your resolution not to be wrong less?
Yeah.
Not to be wrong as much?
My resolution stays the same every year, is to work out. Never happens, but we'll see how it goes.
Get that 2-week free trial gym membership and
Yeah.
abuse it and then never go back again.
never go back.
Since we last spoke to you guys, a lot has happened. Anderson Silva broke his leg, had it repaired. Now he's recovering. Also, Tariq Stephanie made his debut in the UFC in China,
Which nobody saw because at 3 a.m.
I woke up on Saturday morning. It was done already.
Yeah, I saw the pictures on
So-
Instagram.
No, I put my timer. I signed up for the Fight Pass. I woke up at 3 in the morning
And he fell asleep.
and I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
He couldn't even watch it.
Yeah, supposedly it was actually a really good fight. That's what I hear. Saw a couple
No,
pictures.
yeah, Stephanie put
I
on
think
a
Albert's
clinic
the only
again.
one that watched it.
Yeah, I fell asleep, but
Tariq
then
Stephanie's number one fan right here.
I woke up again like around 10.
Yeah.
And then because I have the Fight Pass, you're allowed to see the fight
Yeah.
still. So
So did you? How was the
check that
crowd?
out.
Did you see the crowd?
actually, I was actually talking to Guillermo on the way over here, and I was not impressed. The place looked very small. It was sold out.
Yeah.
It was sold out. The place looked small. The energy seemed kind of weird. The fans were there. They were cheering and everything, but it wasn't. It was no Brazilian crowd.
Well,
it was
he
no,
compared it to the Japanese
crowd.
crowd, where it's
Wait,
a little bit
it's
quiet.
Japan with a little amp to it. They kicked it up to 11 if they were Japanese.
Okay,
But they're not
that's
Japanese.
a great analysis, by the way. So, Tariq Stephanie makes his debut, wins. Does it really Is he an impact now in the welterweight
It
division?
doesn't, but I think this is good for Tariq Stephanie. It's
Get the jitters out, maybe the UFC jitters out
yeah.
of the
It's
way.
like
Yeah.
I'm here and I want to be fighting top contenders, and I proved it here.
If anything, that's what I think was the best for him.
Yeah.
He kind of got the whole okay, I'm in UFC now, everything on the way, and he had to do it overseas. Who knows how his trip went, whatever. So if he can deal with this pressure, I'm pretty sure he can deal with going back and fighting over here and maybe in Vegas or what.
Yeah. So
Especially what he did to Nate Marquardt. I mean, that's what I expect from Tariq Stephanie.
yeah, he's
Well,
he's handling the guys he's supposed to be handling.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So-
And then, real quick, before I don't want him to get lost in the mix, but Max Holloway actually fought too
Oh, yeah, he did bring
in
this
that
up,
card.
too.
He had a TKO win, and even though it wasn't against a top contender per se,
Yeah.
at least he's back in the win column, and he finally gets a break. I mean, the guy
Well,
hasn't
Albert's
had
a big Max Holloway
yeah,
fan.
and
he
in
feels like
2013 he did not get no break. This was his only break.
he feels like
literally had.
they sent him to the Sharks too early.
Oh yeah, was
Wolves.
that your theory?
Or
Like
to the
he was,
Wolves.
Yeah.
kind of good, but not really ready for the big time yet.
Yeah, he's a young fighter. I mean,
Yeah.
let him develop a little bit.
Yeah, Max Holloway off to a good start for 2014. Maybe he's on Albert's list to look out for 2014.
Yeah.
Is that a little tease maybe later on?
You will find out later on. I don't like to give away.
We're gonna jump back into 2013 because we weren't. We took last week off. Just our reactions on Anderson Silva's career. Some people say career-ending loss, but supposedly as soon as he was in the hospital and kind of got his vitals stable, wasn't in pain as much. He asked when he start training again. So, do you see him out? Is this his last week in Anderson Silva?
No, I think he'll it's from what it sounds like, he still has the itch to fight. And you can only do it for so long. So
Is this
I mean,
the itch to fight or to train? Because you can still train and not fight. I mean,
that's true, but I'm sure people will call him out, and he whenever he feels disrespected, I think Anderson Silva's the type of person that will want to defend his honor, prove that person wrong. So I think he'll fight again. Maybe it's the person that talks the most crap.
Well, let me ask you this, Albert: is his return fight a main event on pay-per-view?
Of course,
No matter who it is?
It doesn't matter. He can fight against Chris Lieben, and it'll be a main event again. People been dying to see that rematch.
Yeah.
But real quick, I do think he's going to come back. Two reasons
Okay, go
only.
ahead.
He made $600,000 in his last fight, not including pay-per-view buys. This is just.
Is that after the medical bills or?
I'm
I think Dana White covered
I'm pretty
that.
sure Dana White
better.
covered that. Yeah, but he made $600,000.
Yeah.
Um,
That's on the contract alone, right?
Yeah, and let's get out of the way. It was a freak accident. I don't care how good your blocks are. I don't care how
His
much
leg
you
checks
practice.
That was the game
impressive.
plan,
Yeah,
right?
I don't care how much you leg checks you do. It was a freak accident. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it was a freak accident. Nobody wants to go out like that. And so I think because of those two reasons, money and because nobody wants to go out like that, he will return.
I just think it's funny because Albert had talked about Anderson Silva in the beginning of the year, how he had to find that he had signed that 10-fight contract,
Yeah.
and that he was going to fight 10 fights and 10 fights only.
Yeah.
So you're still a little short there, buddy.
Just a little bit.
And there was after the first Chris Weidman loss, he had to go back and find his desire. Now you think you might have found it now after this accident? Maybe because it was taken away from him.
Yeah,
you think maybe or potentially taken away from his career.
Yeah, I think something, because even in the pictures you see of him, like in his crutches and with his family, I see the spark in his eye.
The eye of the tiger still.
So now what about Chris Weidman? Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, that Vitor is probably gonna win. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
I know you.
No,
got,
no.
dude,
I mean,
remember
don't get
we
wrong.
were talking
I'm
about
going-
a
I'm
lot of
going-
people were talking about like how Anderson Silva's never really that good and how all the Chris. Let's just say the Chris Weidman bandwagon is getting overfull right now.
All I'm saying is
Bandwagon.
I'm not gonna. I'm not
that
gonna.
guy still doesn't get credit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything until I see Chris Weidman fight against somebody else other than Anderson Silva, and then I'll see what's up.
Maybe Chris Weidman's the kryptonite of Anderson Silva.
Yeah, 'cause some guys just can't beat like guys. It's like teams, you know what I mean? Like some teams can't beat. Like doesn't Tom Brady always have trouble with the Dolphins? And
Oh, I don't know about that.
see, but I mean like something like that, or like Chuck Liddell can never beat, or like Rampage can never beat Wanderlei until he did that one time. But you know, just some guys, it's maybe it's a bad matchup for everybody. So
Yeah,
we
that's
shall
true.
see. The era of Chris Weidman has begun. Let's see what 2014 has in store for the All American. But next coming up, we got some MFC lightweight Kurt Southern. Should be a great interview, guys. So stick around. Our first interview of 2014. So stick around.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, joining us now on the 5-round MMA hotline is MFC lightweight Kurt Southern. How's it going, Kurt?
It's going great. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Yeah, we're doing great. Hi, Kurt. This is Guillermo. I just wanted to ask you, how's the training camp going? I know you have a big fight coming up, so we just want to know how that's going in preparation for your upcoming fight.
Yeah, training camp's going great as usual. You know, it's tough, of course, especially it being a 5-round fight. So I've had to really ramp up a lot of my sparring and my rolling and pad hitting and all different types of things. You know, instead of being prepared for a regular 3-round fight, the 5-rounders really push you a little bit further. So, but yeah, it's been good for me. So gets my cardio up and prepares me for the future fights. So, yeah, it's been good.
That's great to hear. This is Alex Ramirez here. You got MSC 39 No Remorse on January 17th. You're going up against Tom Gallicchio for the vacant MFC lightweight championship. You've fought for this company already for 4 times already. Do you think that comes at advantage over Gallicchio, who's making his debut for the promotion?
Yeah, I think so. I think actually this will be my 4th time. I've had 3, but yeah, I think it's an advantage for sure. Like I'm used to the crowd, it's a different venue this time, but used to the way the MFC runs things, used to the ring. I mean, for me, it's kind of like I've been here before. I've done it all over again. So this will just be I don't know, another day at the office, I guess, for me. He's going to be, you know, a little bit maybe out of his element, not sure what to expect from things, but, you know, the little things sometimes, you know, that you're kind of used to after doing it a couple of times. So, yeah, I think it's an advantage.
Yeah, you mentioned that MFC, for the fans who don't know, actually do their events in a ring instead of a cage. Is there a big difference you see fighting in a cage as opposed to a ring? And you think that's also an advantage to you since you fought in a ring several times already?
You know, for me personally, I don't really care. Whether it's a ring or a cage or a back alley, for all I care, you know, I just get in there and fight. So, but I mean, there is little things that are different. Like you can't use cage tactics as much, like getting up off the cage and you know, the ropes kind of do. When you're on the ground, you're kind of in the rope. So you just kind of have to prepare a little bit differently. But as far as that, I don't know. I think he's fought in a ring as well a few times. He fought in M1, I think, or something else. So I don't know. But my last 3 fights have all been in rings. So, yeah, I'm just used to it, I guess.
Hey, Kurt, this is Albert. Sticking with your previous fights, your most recent win was actually a revenge, to say, and you actually won in a spectacular fashion. How big was this win, especially since you were revenging a loss? And does this win help as far as motivation to keep the kind of like keep the train going?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first fight with Novaez, I was dominating that fight. Like, it wasn't really a close contest. I won the first 2 rounds hands down, and the third round I was on my way to, I think, winning the fight. But he ended up catching me in an arm bar. I mean, he did kind of cheat a little bit, in my opinion. He grabbed my glove a bit to set up the arm bar. So I think that's why the MFC was really, they were pretty quick to give me the rematch. I mean, I did have to go and win one, but they saw that, it was a little bit of controversy. It wasn't really necessarily a clean win. And so the second time, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that I was the better fighter. And so I went in there and made sure I didn't let him off the hook this time.
Hey, Kurt, this is Guillermo. You're fighting for the lightweight championship. How great of an opportunity for you is this to win and to really make the division yours?
It's a huge opportunity. I mean, I think the day I signed that contract with the MFC was the day I had my eyes on that belt. The first interview I ever had with them when I signed with them, I said I wanted that belt and it was going to be mine. And as far as I'm concerned, it is my belt. So I'm ready to bring it home to where it belongs.
That's great.
And then getting back to your opponent, he's actually kind of a submission specialist, and you're no slouch yourself when it comes to submission. I mean, you have a lot of impressive wins by submission, but you also have a couple losses by submissions. Do you think the grappling game is going to be a big factor in this fight, or do you think it'll be too neutral?
It's hard to say. I think I can hold my own down there with anybody on the ground. So I'm not afraid by any means to go to the ground with him. I can be competitive. Like, I've fought a lot of world jiu-jitsu black belts and been competitive with them down there. I just got to make sure I'm a little bit careful and I don't, kind of relax. I think that was my problem sometimes, is I just getting caught in those submissions. I was kind of maybe a little bit overconfident at times, like, oh, I'm safe here, I'm fine here, but I ended up I wasn't. So I mean, when I'm on the ground, I just got to make sure to keep my arms and everything and legs in check. And I mean, most of his wins are rear naked chokes too. So I think a lot of them he likes the top control mainly to kind of grind guys out, and then they give up their back and he chokes them. I think 10 of his 11 wins are all rear naked. So I'm gonna definitely keep him off my back. That's for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of holding your own, I know you and Gallicchio have been engaged in a little bit of war of words on Twitter recently. Is it the first time you had an opponent kind of take jabs at you via social media? And like, do you like partaking in smack talking? Like, I know fans like it when they see fighters go back and forth on Twitter. Like, do you have fun with it, or is it kind of something you'll take into the ring with you when you see them face to face?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's all. It's part of it, right? Like, we gotta make sure everybody's aware of what's gonna go down that night, and make sure people are excited about this fight, and we want to show how excited we are to fight, and show the fans, so that they can get as excited as we are, and they can be in the ring, with us, sort of. And I know my last fight with Novaez, we were kind of a little bit going back and forth on Twitter. He was saying I didn't deserve the fight, and stuff like that, and it definitely brings up your level of intensity in training and in the fight a little bit. When it's a little bit personal to me, I definitely bring that in there with me. I know people say that you shouldn't bring your emotions into the game, but I think it's good to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and a little bit of something to prove out there. I don't think it's a bad thing. As long as you don't let it affect the way you fight, but definitely use it in some way or another,
Yeah, a little extra motivation is always a good thing, right?
Yeah, for me. I don't know. Some guys maybe not.
So speaking of Twitter, you can follow Kurt on Twitter at Kurt Southerner. Don't forget MSC 39 No Remorse January 17th versus Tom Gallicchio for the vacant MFC Lightweight Championship. Kurt, we wish you best of luck on your bout. We'd love to have you on again in the future, man. We would really love to speak with you again, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks very much.
Yeah, before I let you go, you want to give a shout out to anybody? Sponsors?
Yeah, just my team, Alliance Martial Arts. Thank the MFC for giving me the opportunity. And yeah, tune in, Access TV, January 17th. Someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Thanks a lot, Kurt.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, joining us now on the 5-Round MMA hotline is a very special guest. We're super excited to have on MFC President Mark Pavelich. How's it going, Mark?
I'm fantastic, fellas. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. We start off the new year. You got a big card coming up, January 17th, MFC 39, No Remorse. Tell us about this card, man. How do you guys start? You guys ended 2013 with a bang. You guys hoping to start 2014 with even a bigger bang?
Do you guys not realize now that I have no question I have the ability to be the #2 show in the world? There's no question, right? It's like you gotta start looking at things in a more realistic fashion now, right?
Yeah.
You guys are from the States, correct?
Yes, California to be exact.
See, so there you go. You're in California, so I'm in Canada. You imagine the amount of work in 14 years that my family has done. You imagine that we're in Canada and you guys talk about us in the United States and the rest of the world does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A family-run business with 7 employees,
Wow.
and we're talked about in the same sentences as the UFC, Bellator, and the World Series of Fighting.
Yeah.
Do you not find that ironic that our family, after 14 years, is still in this position? We're not owned by the Fertitta brothers that are multi-gazillionaires. We're not owned by Viacom, which are bigger money than the Fertitta brothers. We're not owned by the money that's behind World Series.
Yeah, whoever that is.
And no one knows where that money's coming from. and on top of it, we're in the mix of those shows.
Yeah.
Most people would say bang for the buck, that the maximum. And this year, you'll notice already, in 14 years, I never talked about those other shows or said their names, right?
Yeah.
But look at it this way. You're trying to tell me that a company like Viacom that owns Bellator, and you look at the Maximum Fighting Championship that's owned by the Pavlich family, you try to tell me with the millions of dollars they have that there's a big difference between the aesthetics look of Bellator and the Maximum Fighting Championship?
No, actually.
Absolutely not. Be honest right now, guys.
Actually, no. Like fans can actually go up and look MFC 38 highlights. It's a beautiful. The lighting is beautiful. Actually the ring. I kind of miss the ring look. I mean, from a lot of Pride fans we have listened to our show, the ring looks beautiful on camera.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Aesthetic-wise, action-wise, and they're dealing with multi-millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And we're family business. It's hilarious. It's like I think it's a joke. I'm like, if you imagine if we had that type of money, what we would do in the mixed martial art business, we would be the definitive #2, no question. Well, most people already believe that to some degree that we're number 1 in Canada by a million miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're probably #3 or 4 in the world, right?
Yeah.
And I just laugh and I'm like, it's like being in a war and they have guns and bombs and we have rocks and we're still competing with people. It is absolutely amazing. I have to say it out loud from the mountaintops because we're going on our 14th year and people have to really get that into their mind that we're in an absolute war with tanks, guns, with nuclear bombs, and the Pavlich family has slingshots. Still in the game.
Speaking to that, you see like a lot of us former companies, Strike Force, Affliction, Elite XC have all tried and they all failed. But what is the formula you think for your success? It's just like, I know you talk to your fans, they're hardcore, they love the product, they've loved the product for 14 years now. Is that the key, always pleasing the fans and delivering card after card?
You know what it is, guys? Albert and Alex, let me explain to you. It's very simple. You have to really, when other promoters, and you see it all the time, they go, oh, the fans, they don't listen to the fans. They don't even like the fans. They think the fans are annoying because fans demand so much money.
Yeah.
And our family has always been the complete opposite. When our family says, the fans, we really mean it because we actually listen to them. We actually respond to their emails. We're not arrogant enough to think that without the fans, we could survive. I see so many promoters all the time putting their hands around the fan, like they really care what the fans think. I'm not even going to say his name, right? But
Yeah.
the second the fans talk a little crap, though, you see the true colors come out, don't you? He turns 360 and he starts smashing the fans like, who do you think you are talking to me like that? I'm a civil servant. That's the difference between me and the rest of the people that are in this business. I answer to the fans. Just like if I was the president of the United States. The president of the United States should never have any form of arrogance because he's a civil servant. He works for you, the people, right?
Yeah.
I'm the same way in the mixed martial art business. I work for the fans for real, okay? When the fans don't agree with me, 99% of the time, guess what? They're right. They're right. But I'm not arrogant enough to think, well, I shouldn't listen to them now after 14 years. They put me in the situation I'm in right now. But other people, it's fake, it's false, and they're actually liars, right? Because it is unbelievable. I've been watching it for 14 years, and I'm like, come on, man. And the second the fans or a reporter, heaven forbid, reporter disagrees with you, then they ban them from press conferences.
Yeah.
Only sport in the world. In the world. Can you imagine if that happened in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, or NHL, NFL, yeah.
When, there's reporters out there right now, like Josh Gross, what's the girl's name? The one that he called names and stuff. Loretta Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
They're all banned from that place because they told what they thought to be the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you imagine we have mixed martial arts censorship by an organization that decides what you can listen to, what you can't listen to? They want to make the rules. They want to make everything like everybody think that they're the only brand of MMA in the world, which is not true. We're here for 14 years. And you know what? You thought we were going to get calm. We were going to get a little more mellower. Bullshit. We're more mad now today than we were 14 years ago. We've always wanted to be different, and that's what's going to happen. We don't try to be like anybody else. In fact, we try to be the opposite of everybody else. We realize that the UFC is the #1 brand of MMA in the world, and we're okay with that. But at the same time as people, don't be stupid. There's more than one brand of MMA out there. Don't ever think there's just one. There's not. There's many more.
And then real quick, I think to add to that, I mean, a good example is we had Kurt Southern right before you, and you gave him that rematch that a lot of people wanted to see, and he technically he deserved. And I think that's a perfect example of what you're saying as far as you listen to the fans and the fighters.
Listen, Alex and Albert, I've told you 100 times. I've been like this for 14 years. This is not an act, eh? Like this is not how I act because I'm talking to you today. It's Sunday. I got to do 14 interviews today on Sunday. You think I care? Doesn't matter. If I had to do 14 interviews on Christmas, I would do them.
There you go.
Right? It doesn't matter to me because nothing subsedes the Maximum Fighting Championship and our quest to be the #2 brand of MMA in the world. You know how fun it would be if MFC really had real money? I mean real money like these other shows? Could you imagine for the first time ever in the history of mixed martial art, there would be a legitimate person that would not hide, that would not be scared, that would bow down to anybody. You understand? Forget about brands of MMA, the sport of mixed martial arts.
Yep.
It needs that more than anything else in the world. You think Bellator's competing with the UFC? Not a chance, man. They run scared. The second DW opens his mouth, they run scared. You think World Series is competing with the UFC? Not 1 inch. You put me in that situation, and everybody knows I'm the one that can do it. Nobody can outwork me. Nobody can outfight me in this industry. It hasn't happened in 14 years. The only difference is money. That is the only difference.
And then real quick, we do have the light heavyweight, the lightweight and featherweight belts vacant at the moment. Is 2014, will we see those vacant titles have a champion this year?
Yes, for sure you will, guys. Like right now we have Anthony Burchak, which is our 135-pound title.
Yeah, that guy's a beast, man.
I love him. What can you say about the guy? He is absolutely unbelievable. He is by far, and I mean in the MMA world, you know that he's promoting MFC 39 that's coming up on January 17th.
Yep.
He's promoting it more than any of the other fighters on the show.
Yeah, he's on the card, yeah.
On the card, okay?
Yeah.
So to say that he is my star employee is an absolute understatement. Anthony Burchak, to me, is the franchise of the Maximum Fighting Championship. There's no, that's the first time I ever said it out loud.
Wow.
I don't care anymore. He is by far, I was thinking this the other day. I was talking to my wife and I'm like, Burchak is advertising the Maximum Fighting Championship for this show coming up in January 17th, live on Access TV, more than any of the fighters that are actually on the card.
Wow. So speaking of MFC 39, you got to also have a MFC heavyweight championship bout. Your champion, Anthony Hamilton. How bad of a dude is that guy, man? He's a beast, isn't he?
I like him, man. You know what I always like about guys like him? He's a strong practicing Christian.
Yeah.
And usually those cats got an evil side to them too as well, which you saw at MFC 38.
Yeah, that head kick was vicious.
He knocked Ramos' head into the fourth row.
I know, his opponent, Darrell Schoonover, may have he has a reputation in the MMA community on his stint on Tough, but why shouldn't fans just not look over Schoonover? He's a tough dude. He served in the military. Just give us a little insight on why this guy is a legit contender for the MFC title.
Well, you know why, guys? Because he's bitter. He's bitter. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder. He beat Paul Buentello not that long ago, right? Mm-hmm. So is anybody going to talk trash about Paul Buentello? Nobody, right? So he beat Paul Buentello convincingly. And there's a guy that has a humongous chip on his shoulder from back in the tough days. And that's the kind of people I like. Hey, Burchak was a guy that had a big chip on his shoulder when he came to the MFC. Sam Alvey was a big guy that had a chip on his shoulder when he came to the MFC. Now he's the MFC middleweight champ. Because that's the difference between these guys. We hire guys that have that mentality.
Okay. And then you also have another bout that's going to be a championship, which is in the lightweight division. Again, we already talked to Kurt Southern. How big is this matchup? Especially because what I see from it, Tom is a big submission specialist. Kurt is no slouch on the ground either. So we might even have an exciting jiu-jitsu match here.
I don't think so. I would bet $1 against that. I think they're going to keep it standing. I know everybody's going to say, because they're both good on the ground or whatever the case may be. I think it's going to come down to a battle of they're going to beat each other standing up.
Also on the card, you got the return of Victor Valimaki, who was long in the MFC 2007. How big is his return for you guys and for him personally? Is this a return for Valimaki?
Well, I think it's gigantic. I mean, his talent level is undeniably unbelievable. It's a matter of him deciding what he wants to do with that type of talent.
Yeah.
You've had so many people over the years in life in general that they don't have a ton of talent, but they go far. Valimaki is the opposite. He's got a ton of talent, has the ability to go far.
I know he's making his return to light heavyweight. Is he kind of a one or two impressive performances away from maybe going after that belt once again, the belt that he made famous?
Yes, 100% he is.
Wow.
And it's funny. You go into the gyms where he trains at, he just kills everybody. You see him in training, and you just cannot believe the stuff he can do. Once again, this is not a physicality thing with this guy. He has all the tools and all that. His jiu-jitsu game is like world class. The guy doesn't go to the ground. It's just and I'm not telling him to shoot in on guys, but I'm saying is use it once in a while. He doesn't even use it. He wants to sit there and bang it out with everybody. And when there's times when he shouldn't be doing that, and he does that, and it's crazy. It's like I told him the other day, I'm like, you have a world-class jiu-jitsu game. You might want to use that, And
I want to jump back up to the lightweight championship bout. Kurt Southern and Tom Gallicchio have been a little war of words on Twitter. Is that something you like to see between your fighters, going after each other verbally and through social media, let all the fans see it, build up the hype to the fight? Are you fans of that?
You guys, you're kidding, right? I obsess about that. They should be everybody that's fighting on this card should be doing that with their opponent. It shouldn't be fake. It should be real. Someone wants to knock your head off on live TV, on Access TV on January 17th in front of tens and hundreds of thousands of people, and you're going to talk nice to them?
That's a great point.
Come on, guys. I understand this whole sport nonsense stuff.
Yeah.
But if me and you, Albert Alex, were fighting each other come this date, you could trust me when I tell you this. Me and you would not be friends leading up to that.
That's very true.
Just think about it mentally, okay?
Yeah.
You're trying to take my win purse because you want to feed your family with your win purse, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to take food off my family's table by beating the crap out of me on live television. On top of it, I'm not going to get as much sponsorship dollars too in the future if I'm losing. So I don't understand even for 1 second how you could have any kind of love or respect for your opponent. To me, that is mind-boggling. That even I can't even imagine it.
Well, the science is definitely there. Mark, we'll let you go, and you got a busy day ahead of you. MFC 39, No Remorse, January 17th on Access TV. I want to thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, and love to have you on again in the future, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, guys. And listen, fans out there, if you're in Canada or if you're in the United States, Ticketmaster.ca, not .com. Ticketmaster.ca, January 17th, live from the Edmonton Expo Center. And I'm telling you, I guaranteed it last year, and I'm sick of even saying it, but you know what's going to happen on the 17th, MFC 39. People are getting knocked out. One half's going to the hospital. One half's going to the after party. Just last show, I was taking pictures from the after party, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was in the emergency room taking pictures with the fighters.
Wow.
That's what it's about. If you got a weak stomach, don't tune in on January 17th. You want to watch real fighting with real fighters that don't pick their fights? Tune in and watch.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, fellas. Appreciate it.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, welcome back. I want to thank MFC President Mark Pavelich for that awesome interview. So let's look back on 2013 and look ahead to 2014. I want to ask you guys, what was the best fight of 2013? Because we had a little poll on our Instagram.
What do you think, Albert from DW?
To be honest, like the best fight was I think Chandler versus
What?
Alvarez too?
But wait. I'm saying fight. But
You're saying fight. What does that mean?
But I'm saying like if it came down to just the fighting, that would have been the winner for me.
But like, as far as like technique wise,
but we're talking about fight of the year. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a moment that happened 2013 that I cannot forget, and it would have to be Alexander Gustafsson versus John Bones Jones, because I honestly thought Alexander Gustafsson had the belt won. I was doing backflips. I was just waiting for the bell ring, and I hear the new champion being declared.
But yeah, well, that was not the case, right?
Yeah, to me it was Diego versus Gilbert Melendez, because not only did they go 3 rounds, they could have gone 3 more rounds and made it a 6-round fight.
There's 2 rounds on top of that, right?
Yeah, and they no holds barred, blood everywhere, and they would have still kept going forward and trading blows until one really can't stand up anymore.
What they say when you get 2 Mexicanos in there, right?
Yeah.
2 Aztec warriors.
Yeah, I know. I was a big fan of the Brian Stan Wanderlei fight, because that was obviously a pure emotion for Wanderlei, and Brian Stan just went for it, and that was a great fight. I remember after the first round ended, we're all like, wait a minute, that was barely the first round of action.
Yeah.
And of course it didn't go long into the second round, but that was a great fight as well.
I mean, I don't know if I'm out of line, but it could have been the radiation in the air of the empowered Vanderlei.
I don't know about
Ouch.
don't they have like a little hush law now in Japan? You can't say anything about the country now?
About the Fukudomi power plant.
So let's go on move to fighter of the year. Who'd you guys fighter of the year for 2013? I know, like on the list, short list is what Vitor Belfort, Uriah Faber, Mighty Mouse. Some people are putting Chris Weidman on there, even though he fought twice.
Even Chad
And the dark horse could be.
To me, it has to be
Chad
2 fights or more.
2 fights or more?
Yeah, to even be mentioned in my list. But
So
to me, it was Mighty Mouse. Just
why?
Given that he was in championship fights,
He's what 3-0
and 3-0 is very impressive, and how he won.
Yeah, I think that last fight against Benavidez really solidified him as
because if you think about it, like Uriah Faber fought 4 times, won 4 times, but they weren't for the title. I mean, yeah, it was impressive, but at the same time, the implications wasn't there. I mean, it wasn't #1 contender either.
Yeah, it wasn't really like kind of like
he was supposed to beat these guys.
Yeah, or these guys are supposed to beat him on the way to a title shot, right?
Exactly.
Kind of a gatekeeper
and to
role
me,
for them.
Mighty Mouse, they were gunning for him. They want him. They want his belt.
Yeah, almost like a lack of respect. And nobody really took Mighty Mouse kind of seriously.
And obviously, Xbox sees something that nobody else does.
They've seen something because like,
or he knows somebody. Let's not get too crazy, guys.
Mighty Mouse. Anyways,
For
what
me.
we got?
Mine had to be Vitor Belfort.
What?
Because he established
Vitor or the TRT's fighter of the year?
Because he established
Yeah,
a brand in 2013, I think.
He fought Michael Bisping. He fought Luke Rockhold. I'm not impressed.
Dan Henderson.
I'm not impressed.
Let me make an argument
Okay,
here.
go for it.
He loses to John Bone Jones in late 2012, right?
Yes.
Then he steamrolls 2013 with an impressive KO streak of Michael Bisping, Luke Rockhold, and Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson, a guy that has probably never been knocked out. The guy has a brick of a head, and he gets knocked out by Vitor Belfort.
Brick of a head.
But keep in mind that after the John Bone Jones fight and a little bit before that, people were kind of forgetting Vitor. Vitor was, I mean, yeah, he was a respected fighter and everything, but the brand itself wasn't as bankable as what it used to be.
He came in, beat Rich Franklin, got a title shot against Anderson Silva, lost that pretty embarrassingly. The front kick heard around the world.
Yeah.
And then kind of just fell off.
It kind of fizzled. Even though he had a couple wins in between the John Bone Jones fight, he kind of fizzled out.
No one said that Vitor Belfort would get to the championship again.
Yeah, pretty much.
After that, that kick to the face.
So I think he reestablished his brand, his name, and I think he was the fighter of the year technically because Mighty Mouse was already top dog beginning of the year. Uriah Faber really,
but to me, Vitor Belfort had a fight like Musasi, had a fight Machida. These other guys to me are more impressive
but it's
fighters.
the way he finished these fighters, I think.
No,
and
went out the first round, or Bisping was second round, right?
Michael Bisping was second round. The other two were first round.
Yeah. So I mean, that was last year. Albert, you promised us a list of fighters to look out for in 2014. Let's just see who you got. Read the entire list, short list. Who you got? Let's
All
see.
right, well, real quick,
Is Poppy on this list? Poppy DB on this list?
Unfortunately, I had to take him out of the list, and for one reason only.
Why?
Because the people I'm about to name are either going to win a championship or fight for a championship.
2014.
Okay.
In 2014.
Let's see it.
Mark it.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Steven,
you want me to go from the big guys
It's
to
always
the small
recorded.
guys? How do you want it?
Just go from weight class. Weight class. How do you got it?
Yeah,
do it by weight class. Do it by weight class.
Let's go
Okay.
to the flyweights.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Oh, God. This is gonna be a long list.
There's only one name to say here, and that's Joseph Benavidez.
Oh my!
Again,
Didn't he just lose?
Yeah.
guys, look out for 2014. I'm saying Joseph Benavidez again. The people I say are either going to win the title or going to compete for the title in 2014.
Well, okay. So are you banking on
I'm
Someone to
banking
beat Demetrius Johnson. And,
I'm banking
and
Joseph Benavidez. I'm banking to be Joseph Benavidez.
Okay.
All right, and then that's all I got for flyweight.
Okay.
Bantamweight. A little guy you guys might not have known. His name is Chris Holdsworth.
Never heard of him.
No.
I know you haven't. He was a tough enough.
Educate us.
He was the tough finale winner of the previous season. He's undefeated, and I think he's gonna do leap and bounds in the bantamweight division because I think they need a new spark in it. I mean, it's kind of like in the mud right now because the way the championship is kind of
we got
who's really the champion.
Unification belt coming
So watch out for Chris Holdsworth. He's my dark horse here.
Okay.
And then let's move up. Obviously, you guys have heard me say Bobby Green and Abil Trujillo at
And they'll
155.
fight each other, so
So
they'll
you-
No, well,
elimination
fight.
fight.
No, Bobby Green had dropped out of the fight.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that because that gives both
Your
my
list
guys
doesn't
a
check.
chance.
So what about you? Featherweights on the list?
No, I don't believe in the featherweight division.
Oh.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Because they won't give Chad Mendes the title shot he
Money
deserves.
Mendes.
So then
Okay.
Chad Money Mendes on the
Oh yeah,
list.
Channing Money, of course, is the
Yeah.
guy to look out for 2014. But I didn't want to mention his name because I didn't want to jinx the guy.
Oh yeah.
But-
you have been a jinx.
But he's still he's the man.
I mean,
at
if Jason
145.
Hendricks is the ultimate jinx, you're right behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I didn't mention. But he
Ask
will
Machida.
win the belt. And then let's go up to 170.
Okay.
All right, I got Hector Lombard, Roy McDonald, and Tyrone Woodley to look out for in 2014.
That's your stacked division on 170.
That's my stacked
That's like your favorite division on
Yeah,
170.
that's my meat and core right. That's my meat and potatoes right here. And
170.
then
Is it welterweight?
And then we get
Yeah.
to then we get to the dessert. I'm gonna tell you guys
Middleweight?
the obvious dessert.
Middleweight,
I'm gonna tell you the obvious dessert here.
Lyoto Machida.
Little Machida.
Oh my god! How
And
did I
then-
know? I knew this was
and
coming.
then
I know young dogs in a
and- yeah.
180.
And then I got my topping Lorenz Larkin.
Okay, he's a young dog.
Hey, but then this one's the one that's gonna get you.
Which
I
one?
got Uriah Hall to look
What?
out for in
What?
2014.
He barely
Mark
survived 2013.
yeah, he
Mark
almost got
my-
cut. He
mark
he can't
my
even get a
words.
sponsor on his shorts.
Dad,
Keep in mind what I say here.
you
These
gotta
are
give him Chris Lehman.
these
Come
are
on.
guys. I'm telling you, they're either gonna compete for the title or win the title.
Uriah Hall.
and I'm
come
putting
on.
Uriah Hall on the list.
What?
And then light heavyweight.
Next.
Of course, Daniel. I only got DC Daniel Cormier in 205.
Okay.
All right, not too bold, but
Yeah,
okay.
and then obviously in heavyweight, my boy Todd Duffy.
Is he even on the roster
he's
still?
he's scheduled to return late 2014.
What?
but-
Injury or just?
Yeah, he's injured.
How is he
okay.
gonna compete for a title if it's late
Todd Duffy, bro.
2014?
It's Todd Duffy.
And
Well,
then-
how about a knockout from JDS?
But I thought
How do you know he's gonna get JDS?
Aren't him and Kane boys though?
No, but that'll just make him number one. So you know, technically.
didn't we have this conversation earlier? Like
Yeah.
the tower of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's Todd Duffy and then,
And then real quick, I didn't leave the ladies out. Of
Okay.
course I didn't.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm gonna say the obvious Kat Zagano.
Mhm.
That's the obvious. I'm gonna say the this one's going to kick off my prediction. Sarah McMahon is going to beat her. He's going to
Ronda
beat
Rousey?
Ronda Rousey.
He didn't even say her name. He's going to beat her.
I know.
Her we do not speak of.
And then of course, Jessica.
He was pretty upset at the Misha Tate.
That's true. And of course, Jessica I.
This guy, Evil Eye. That's good. Okay, what about you? You got any fighter who maybe wasn't on Albert's list or who was on Albert's list that was gonna have a big year? You think ahead of him?
Big year. I'm not making a list or whatever. I heard you mention it that there's controversy with Henan Barao and Dominic Cruz, but it's the year of Henan Barao.
I mean, 8 years undefeated.
That is a possibility.
If he goes over and destroys Dominic Cruz, I think there's really no stopping him in the.
Well, then he fights Uriah Faber again, and
Again.
he destroys him too. So I say Henan Barao becomes a star from the absence of Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I think I got Chad Mendes actually. I think Jose Aldo won't be able to duck him any longer because he's what 5-0 since he lost to Aldo, which all know is kind of controversial.
Yeah,
but I think I just got to. Of all the alpha male guys, he's the one kind of seems who's like learning.
Who will bring the first belt home?
You just got. You look at Mendes, he just looks like that guy's gonna. He's all of his wins have been impressive. He was sick last time, but just something about in the air when Chad Mendes fights, right?
Almost like what I feel when I see Michael Chandler.
Yeah. And who knows? I think
It's true.
A man crush?
They might do,
Is that
That was
I'm
not a
hearing?
man crush.
That's what it
Those
sounded
were
like.
facts.
when he stares, when I stare at Michael Chandler poster on the wall. I
Yeah,
can
seriously,
see
that's what
that.
it sounded like.
But also,
It reminds me of
we might
Chad
see,
Money Mendes.
Yeah, we might see Alvarez and Chandler 3 right in 2014 as well. I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah, and maybe the hopefully return of Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, hope so.
All 100% finally.
I can't
Begin-
wait. I'm
can
already. I
begin his
have
reign
October
officially?
circled already. My birthday for his return. So
Yeah.
good birthday present for me.
All right, that's it for today. You guys good?
Yeah.
No more lists, Albert? Any more fight left out?
No, that's who I gotta say.
All right, so we are back in 2014. We were back with a bang. So until next week, make sure to follow us on Twitter at FiveRoundMMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. Make sure to like us on Facebook and check us out on Instagram. And be sure to check out one of our affiliates, OvertimeDanceOrder.com, for the first place you can see our articles and read our trains of thought, our ramblings, see if you agree with them or not. And also check out FiveRoundMMA.com for the first place for our weekly web show and other great content. I want to thank all of our sponsors who helped us grow in 2013 and will help us grow even bigger in 2014, starting with the Madhouse clothing line, clothes for the fighter and fight fanatic. Go shop themadhouse.com and follow them on Twitter at themadhousemma. I want to thank Honey Badger Performance Energy Drinks. Start off the year right. Get your resolutions made with Honey Badger. Go to drinkhoneybadger.com and get a scoop and get the most out of your workout. And a big thank you to Top Rated MMA, makers of 100% American-made MMA apparel. Go shop topratedmma.com and follow them on Twitter at topratedmma. Albert, get some final words.
I just want to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Cita. I like to thank our guests today. Awesome interviews.
MFC.
A good way to kick out 2014. I like to thank our sound engineer, Steven Rousel with Rousel Records. Awesome guy. And I'd like to thank everybody that listened to us in 2013. And hopefully you stick around and listen to us in 2014.
Cream of the crop.